you ever wondered how you go about creating your own piano arrangements? Well, it's Christmas, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through my entire process for how I would go about arranging the beautiful song Silent Night in a soulful gospel style, where we're playing the melody and the chords at the same time. This was the song as voted for by you when I put out a poll a few weeks ago, and I'll be honest, I got completely carried away when I was filming this video. There's so much packed into this one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Let's dive in. Okay, just before we kick off, if you want to get the most out of this lesson and you want to follow along at home with everything I'm doing, I've put together the sheet music and notation for every step I'm going to cover in this video. It's completely free, and I've also included the backing track as well that we're going to be using later on in the video. It's completely free for you to download. The link is in the video description, or you could also scan this QR code right here. I really recommend you do that because it's going to make understanding everything that's going on so much easier. Okay, Silent Night. This is one of my favourite Christmas carols, and the first thing I always do whenever I'm thinking about playing a piano arrangement of something, I think about what the drums would be playing. So much of what we play on the piano is obviously rhythm based, okay? We're playing in a groove, and I want this to have that kind of 3/4 kind of real backbeat kind of feel. So I've just put together a little drum groove here. It's just the drums on its own. Let's have a listen to the drum groove to start off with and just work out what's going on, because that's really going to help us lock into that groove when we play this song through. Let's have a listen. So we're in that kind of 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. I mean, you could think of it like 6/8 as well, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's up to you how you think of it. I'm thinking of it in 3/4. I've also written out in the sheet music as well as 3/4 because I think it's a bit nicer to look at it that way. There's our kind of groove. We got that kick drum in there. Boom, dum, dum, ga, boom, dum, dum, ga. That kind of feel. Let's just keep that in our mind when we're working through. That's the most important part, okay? We're going to do this in the key of C. I think this song is usually in the key of C. And what we're going to do is we're going to just work out the underlying chords. If you try and play the melody and the chords and add in some bass notes and left-hand parts, you've got so much going on. You've got so much to kind of process in real time. So one thing I always recommend people to do is just start with the underlying chords. And that's a great place to then build from when we come to adding in that melody. So let's work out what the chords are. There are loads of different options here we could do. There's essentially hundreds of different ways we could harmonize this song. I'm just going to come up with some chords that I think feel nice. We're trying to have a few little interesting corners in there as well. We're not going to make it sound completely different from the original. Okay, we want it to sound like the song Silent Night, but we want to add in a few little moments. So let's begin. We're going to start on chord 1. So the tune goes, Silent Night. It then goes, Holy Night. We're going to change to an A minor 7 there. So we're going to go from chord 1 to chord 6 in the key, which is the relative minor, A minor 7. Some of you will know that I think of A minor 7 as C over A. That's really useful because it means when we go, Silent Night, Holy Night, we can kind of keep the same shape in our right hand. Do you see that? And then we're going to go, all is calm. Quick change there. We went from D minor 7 to G7. And then we're going to go, all is bright. Sorry, I wasn't planning on singing this, but I've got to obviously sing the tune as well, so you can hear whereabouts in the song we are. So apologies for the slightly croaky singing. But it just gives you a bit of a shape of where we are in the melody. So I'll just do the first section. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. And you see there at the end, we're changing from C to C7. Just changing this C here in the middle to a B flat. Okay, right. We've got our underlying framework for the first section. We've got our chords. Let's see if we can now add in the melody. Before we try and add in the melody, we've got to work out what the melody actually is. So before we put it together with the chords, we've actually got to get the melody together. So what is the melody for Silent Night? Well, it starts on this G. And usually with piano arrangements, I try and work this melody out by ear. When I first started doing that, it took me ages. I'd spend hours and hours listening to a recording, working it out, trying to work out the notes in the melody. You will find that this process gets quicker. So try and work it out by ear if you can when you're making arrangements like this. The melody goes. So we got that jump in the middle. Then it jumps all the way up to the D. There we go, there's the melody. What I'm going to ask you to do now is slightly odd. I'm going to ask you just to play it with your little finger. Okay, this is the method that I teach everyone for how to play melody and chords at the same time. The reason being is that you want the melody to sit at the top of your right hand part. And the reason why we're playing it in our little finger is you want that melody to be at the top, okay? So your little finger will be playing it. So just play that melody, if you can, just with your little finger. Let's give it a go. Jumping up. There's the whole melody. Okay, so let's try and put that melody with the chords. Now, people always say to me, they say things like, what chords do you play in your left hand? So often, I don't play chords in my left hand. I leave my left hand free just for bass notes. Occasionally, my left hand might come up and join a specific chord, or I might play a little voicing. But actually, the majority of the time when I'm playing, my left hand's kind of taking care of the low end, the bass notes, and my right hand is playing the melody and the chords together. My little finger will often be playing that melody, and then the rest of the fingers in my right hand will be playing that chord. It's what we call voicing down from the melody. So you've got your little finger playing the melody and the rest of your hand playing the chord. It's kind of a different way of thinking. I prefer the sound of that to say, it's just a personal preference, but I prefer to put the chords in my right hand, which I just think it sounds better. Let me show you how I'm doing this, okay? So we're going. Now what I'm doing here is a little formula, chord, tune, chord. Okay, so I'm playing a chord, then I'm playing a little bit of tune, and then I'm playing a chord. Check it out. I'll break it down again, watch. Chord, tune, chord. Do you see that? And actually, even when I'm playing the chords, I'm still playing the melody because our melody's at the top. You always want to think of your little finger as playing a melody note, okay? And that's what it's doing here. It's playing the first note of the tune. Let me put it with our left hand, okay? Let's put it with the left hand. There we go. I did a little split there. I'll talk all about that later. Let's just keep on going for the moment. So we're now going to go on to the D minor 7. Going to a G7. We got the third there, the flat 7 and the 5th. And then going to the C. Going to a C7. Let me play it through for you so you can get a bit of a shape of this. Here we go. There we go. That's what I'm doing. Now, it's interesting. Whenever I'm playing this through, I'm doing ever so slightly different things each time. Not massively with the notes I'm playing, but I'm adding in little kind of, I call these smudges, where you move little notes, give it a bit more character. Maybe something in my left hand as well. Those things can happen kind of quite organically, okay? They're not necessarily pre-planned. They're more things that you want to think of happen in the moment when you're playing them. They're little techniques you can use. I'll run you through some of those a little bit later on. What I'm doing here is a completely different way of thinking about music, okay? So if you're someone that's maybe learned lots of pieces before, where you kind of just learn how to play the music exactly as it's written on the page, that's really, really great. But what it doesn't mean is that doesn't always mean you're in control of what's going on. It doesn't mean you can necessarily change things in terms of the harmony or the groove or the voicings. And it's a kind of, I'm giving you a framework you can use. So whenever I come up with an arrangement, I will start by just singing, even though I'm not really a singer, I'll just sing the song along with chords, and I'll work out the chords I want to use, okay? Then because I've sung the melody and I've kind of got it in my head, I'll work out the melody by ear. I'll then try and fuse those two things together by using that chord, tune, chord method. And then I begin to think about all the extra little sparkles and all of that kind of stuff that people always say, oh, what's that you're doing in your left hand? And that, all that stuff comes later. Get your framework together before you try and add all that stuff in. It's going to be so much easier and you'll have so much of a better idea of what's actually going on in the music. What we're doing here is understanding the architecture of the music. How is it set up? Where are the main points? It's a different way of thinking. Takes slightly longer, okay, than just reading off the sheet music. But it's so much more fulfilling. And what we're doing here is we're actually being musicians and creative musicians, which everyone wants to be ideally, right? Let's have a look at the chords for the next section, right? So we're going to go round young virgin, mother and child. Now I did a little walk down there. Did you see that? Mother and child. So we went C, G over B to A minor 7. There's our little pattern, okay? Then we're going to go holy in. This is like a nice little shift, okay? We're going holy infant, so tender and mild. Did you spot that? So what we're doing there, that middle chord, it goes from an F to F sharp half diminished. That's what this chord is, okay? You can think of it as F sharp half diminished. It's a bit of a complicated one, but an easier way to think of it is A minor over F sharp, okay? A minor in your right hand, F sharp in your left hand. Holy infant, so tender and mild. So there are our shapes, okay? I'll run through that little sequence there. Let me do it once more. So that's the next section, okay? What's our melody doing? Well, our melody is going... So what we're going to do is we're going to play that in our little finger now, like we did before. And we're then going to add the chords underneath. Do you see the process I'm going through? It might feel quite long. What you're actually doing is you're building it together piece by piece. And this is a completely different way of playing music. Because what you're doing here, you're completely in control of everything that's going on. Rather than learning it by rote and just being able to play Silent Night at the end of this. Actually, what you're doing here is you're giving yourself the skills and the ability and the kind of the techniques you need in order to be able to play songs in this style, using this kind of way of playing, using the tune, chord, tune, being able to try out different chords. It's like a different way of learning. By the way, I'm covering a lot of this. I'm covering a lot of ground here. If you're interested in more of this stuff, I'm actually launching a course in the new year called the Creative Piano Roadmap. It's essentially a fully structured course with me, loads of video lessons taking you through a journey. You get a course book as well with it. I'm going to be talking lots more about it in the new year. If you want to get on the wait list for it, so you'll be the first to know when it does go live, the link to do that is in the video description. So give that a click, add your name to it. I don't think there's anything quite like it out there on the market that I've seen that helps you get into creative piano playing, but understanding exactly what you're playing, where you're completely in control of the music. I can't wait to share it with you. Let's add in the chords in our right hand. So we're going to go, this is on the F. Did you see what I did there? I went C, tune, chord with our G at the on the melody to the A minor 7. I'll just play that slower for you. There's the whole thing. Let's try the next bit. That's That's a bit more complicated, that one. Again, I'm using that chord, tune, chord. Watch. Chord, tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord. It's a different way of thinking, and it just means that you don't have to harmonize every single note you're playing in your right hand. You can give the chord, maybe use the sustain pedal to hold it down, then add a bit of tune, then come back to a chord. It's just kind of pacing it, and it also doesn't make it sound as blocky. So that whole section there, the A minor 7 there, now to the F again, F sharp half diminished. Sounding really nice, isn't it? It's beginning to come together. You might be thinking, oh, it still sounds quite sort of blocky and it's not quite flowing yet. That can all come later, right? All of those little moments, the little kind of flourishes and little left-hand parts, and think of that like the icing on the cake. The framework is what we need to have really clear, and then from there we've got a really great foundation to improvise with. It's kind of a different way of thinking about how you approach this stuff. Let's do the last section. So we need to work out the chords for the sleep in heavenly... Oh, it's a high note. Here we go. Sleep in heavenly peace. Slightly regretting choosing the key of C now. Means it's quite high in the old range. So we're going to go D minor 7 to F over G. Okay, F in our right hand, G in our left hand. Sleep in heavenly peace. And that's like a beautiful little gospel move, that. Going up via a diminished chord. Now, if you don't know what diminished chords are, don't worry too much for the moment, but watch. Sleep in heavenly peace. If I just show you that shape, that is a diminished chord. It's G sharp diminished. That one there, okay? Basically, a diminished chord is a bunch of stacked minor third intervals. It's like a great sound. I'm going to do a bunch of other videos on that chord because it's so useful to kind of have in your toolkit. But for the moment, just learn that one kind of by rote, G sharp diminished. So we're going to go. That's the last chord we're going to end on, which is a D9, okay? The reason why it's called a D9 is because we've got the ninth at the top there, that E. The ninth is the same as the second. So the second of D is an E, second is the same as the ninth. And it's actually our melody note, so we'll come back to that in a minute. So let's do the last couple of bars because we're almost there. We're going to go, sleep in heavenly peace. Rather than going straight to that C chord, it's a bit like, oh, it sort of brings us home straight away. I think what we should do is put a walk down at the end, a McCartney walk down, which you'll know from some of the videos I've done. We're going to go, sleep in heavenly heaven. Do a little walk down, almost like we're singing, sleep in heavenly peace. It's like a little echo of the tune that's just come. Okay, let's see if we can just play the chords through for that last section, then we're going to add the melody. So, let's go from the climax of the song, which is the sleep in heavenly peace. So we're going to start on that D minor 7. Here we go. Sleep in heavenly. I'm going to have to go down the octave for some of this. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly heaven. There we go. We've now got our framework of the chords underneath. Okay. I hope this is all making sense. I'm kind of just, I want this video to be a bit like sort of you're sat with me here in the piano practice room and I'm just kind of explaining stuff I'm doing. I know it's slightly different to some of the videos we've done before. Drop a comment down below if you like this kind of content. I'd love to hear. I'm always on the lookout for new ideas for the channel. We now just need to add our melody to that last little section. So let's try it. So what was our melody? There's our melody there. I'll play it for you again. Okay, so let's add in our chords underneath. So we've got D minor 7. Yeah, I mean, we could voice it like that, couldn't we? I I could also put in the C if I wanted to. Not massively keen on that clash at the top. I think I'm going to keep it clean. We're going to go D minor, D minor 7, D minor, and we're going to go F over G. Did you see that? That's a nice little move. Then to the D9, which is there. Again, I'm using the chord, tune, chord. I'll speak you through what I'm doing. I'm going chord, tune, chord, tune, which is there, chord, chord, chord. Sometimes when you've got a change of chord, you need to play more chords. So there at the end, chord, chord. I've got to make sure I'm hitting all of those, so I have to find a way of kind of voicing down from the melody there. So I'll have another go at that. There's that section. And then the last bit, I think I'm going to voice that like that with that sleep. I really like having those little sus shapes on minor chords. This is a sus2 shape. F, G, and C. F sus2. If I play that with the melody, I'll just do that last bit for you. Okay, we've actually got the whole thing now. There's a lot going on there. Let's have a go at playing it through. I'm just going to do it solo piano to begin with, and then I'll have a go at playing it with the backing track and talk a little bit how we can lock in with that. F sharp half diminished. There we go. I might have tweaked some tiny little bits there, and this is the thing, where I'm not playing from sheet music, I can't be 100% sure I'm doing exactly the same thing every single time, but it should be giving you an idea of roughly what's going on, particularly if you've got that lesson book in front of you, you can see kind of what I'm playing. So do download that. The link is in the video description. Right, let's have a go at playing this with the backing track, okay? I've put together this backing track. I just kind of, people always ask where I get my backing tracks from. I don't get my backing tracks from anywhere. I make them all myself. I just knock them up on Logic, lay down a drum groove, lay down like a little bass line, maybe add in some little harmony bits, some pads, and yeah, I put it together all for these videos. So yeah, this is a little backing track I've created of Silent Night based on the harmonic framework we're using. So let's just have a listen to it. It actually starts with a little introduction that I've created. The bass is just playing on like the beginning of each bar, basically, the root notes. Then that's where the tune starts, okay? We're gonna have a little 4-bar intro. I'll just show you what I'm gonna do in my intro. All we're going to do is just go through a simple chord sequence. We're gonna go C to that voicing there. Now, if you're wondering what that is, this is one of my favorite voicings of all time. A voicing is a way of playing a chord. Check it out. This is F sus2 over A. If I rearrange these notes in my right hand, I play a F, G, C, you get F sus2. Okay, that's a regular F triad. There's our sus2. I just voice them like that. We've got the A in the bass. It's such a warm sound though, particularly moving from chord 1 to chord 4, which we're kind of doing here. We're going from C to F over A. Such a nice sound. And then from F over A, we're going to go to F2. We're going to put the third in there, I think. And then we're going to go to F over G. Okay, so I'll play all of those moves. Yeah, all these are all really kind of like gospel-y kind of sounds, you know? That's the sound of it. And I'm also going to put a little melody over the top. If you want a way to make your chord progressions sound less like just chords and more like actual music, you put a little, it's not even really like a melody, it's like a little line that just goes over the top of them. So check this. That, just putting in that to our next chord. I was originally going, just doing that, but just putting in that little melody line suddenly makes it feel more like a song and more cohesive. We're then going to do it again. And then we're going to do what we call a stop. And the band actually does this on the track. I say the band, the band I've created in Logic, the drummer and the bass player, they're going to go, we're going to do a stop on beat 1 on an F over G. If you're not sure what this F over G is, it's just a really nice voicing for a 5 chord. It's like a softer 5 chord. Okay, so I'll play the whole of that intro just so you can see it, and we'll do that stop on beat 1 of the last bar. This is all before we play the tune, okay? It just gets us into the song rather than going straight in with the tune. Here we go, listen. There it is. Big, actually, I didn't hit that last one as loudly as I wanted to. We'll do it again. Stops have to be really meaningful. That's what it needs. That's what it needs in the track. I'm adding in a little bit of rhythm. I'm going to talk about that in the next section, okay? The rhythm is so much easier to get into your playing when you've got the chords and the voicings and the melody down, okay? It's all about assembling the different parts. Think about it like building a house, okay? You don't build it all at once. You start with the foundations and you build up. Okay, let's have a go at playing through what we've done so far with the backing track. Okay, let's give it a go. Ready to start? Here we go. That little move, F sharp half diminished. D minor. Okay, nice. There it is. When I was playing that through, I forgot to mention something. We're actually going to do a stop on that D9 chord, so it's going to sound like this. There, that's where we're going to do that stop, and we come in with our walk down. Okay, as you can probably tell, I got completely carried away while I was filming this video. I put so much in this one, so we've decided to split it into 2 parts. That's the end of part 1. Part 2 will be out next week, and in that video, I'll be showing you the rhythms and the little stylistic decorations you can add to your arrangement to give it that real gospel vibe. Don't forget to download the free lesson book. The link to do that is in the video description. It's got everything written out for you. I think you're going to find it really useful. And in the meantime, why not check out this video up here? This is one of my favorites. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.